we knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed, few people cried, and most people were silent, caught in a moment of deep contemplation. I remembered a line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, that seemed to echo through the silence. In it, Vishnu, in his attempt to persuade the prince, Arjuna, to fulfill his duty as a warrior, takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose, in that moment, we all understood, in one way or another, the profound weight of those words. The concept of nuclear weapons is typically associated with modern warfare, most famously illustrated by the devastating bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. These bombings marked a turning point in human history, forever changing the nature of warfare and the balance of power. However, some researchers and enthusiasts have proposed a more controversial theory, one that suggests ancient civilizations might have had access to technologies far more advanced than we give them credit for. They point to descriptions found in ancient Indian texts like the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, which some believe hint at the existence of nuclear-like weapons in antiquity. This theory, though speculative, has gained traction in certain circles, partly fueled by the enigmatic statements made by J. Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb. Oppenheimer himself drew inspiration from Indian philosophy and literature, especially the Bhagavad Gita, which he famously quoted after witnessing the first successful atomic test in 1945. The Mahabharata, one of the two great epics of ancient India, is renowned not only for its intricate narrative but also for its philosophical depth. Within its verses, there are numerous passages that seem to describe weapons of extraordinary and unimaginable power, far beyond what was possible at the time. One of the most striking descriptions is that of the Brahastra, a weapon said to be so potent that it could destroy entire civilizations. The text goes into great detail about the aftermath of its use, with descriptions that eerily resemble a modern-day nuclear explosion. A single projectile charged with all the power of the universe, an incandescent column of smoke and flame as bright as 10,000 suns rose in all its splendor, the Mahabharata states. It goes on to describe the shockwave and devastation caused by the weapon, painting a vivid image of destruction that could only be likened to the aftermath of a nuclear explosion. The Mahabharata refers to this weapon as an unknown and mysterious force, almost like a thunderbolt or a gigantic messenger of doom. The text's portrayal of such a powerful weapon and its catastrophic effects has led some to question whether ancient civilizations might have possessed knowledge of technologies capable of mass destruction, much like the atomic bombs we developed in the 20th century. These ancient texts, though written thousands of years ago, contain details that seem too advanced for their time, leaving us to wonder if we truly understand the scope of humanity's history or if there are lost chapters waiting to be uncovered. The striking similarities between the ancient descriptions in the Mahabharata and modern accounts of nuclear detonations continue to provoke interest and speculation. The vivid portrayal of the Brahastra, an ancient weapon of unimaginable power, mirrors the catastrophic effects witnessed in the aftermath of the atomic bombings. In the Mahabharata, the weapon's flash is described as bright as 10,000 suns, creating an intense light that could blind anyone caught in its immediate vicinity, similar to the blinding flash that accompanied the detonation of the atomic bombs. This comparison is not just about the visual spectacle but also the destructive aftermath. The Mahabharata tells of the weapon's capacity to turn lush landscapes into barren wastelands, poisoning the very waters that sustain life. This is eerily reminiscent of the long-lasting environmental damage caused by radiation in the wake of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, where the fallout led to widespread contamination of the air, soil, and water, affecting ecosystems for decades. The Mahabharata also mentions the weapon's ability to decimate entire armies, rendering the opposing forces defenseless against its wrath. The bombs dropped on Japan in 1945 similarly obliterated the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, wiping out much of the infrastructure and killing tens of thousands of civilians, many instantly. But just as importantly, both the Mahabharata's description of the Brahastra and the atomic bomb's effects highlight the enduring suffering caused by such powerful weapons. Survivors of both the ancient and modern destruction faced long-term health issues, from radiation sickness in Japan to the potential for lasting genetic damage mentioned in the Mahabharata's accounts of those who survived the weapon's wrath. One of the more intriguing aspects of the comparisons between the Brahastra and nuclear weapons is their portrayal as almost supernatural in origin. In the Mahabharata, the Brahastra is not merely a weapon, it is an almost divine force that can only be wielded by a select few and can bring about the end of entire civilizations. This supernatural aspect reflects the power of nuclear weapons, which, in their unprecedented destructive capacity, can seem almost godlike in their ability to alter the course of history. Oppenheimer, whose connection to Indian philosophy is well documented, drew a connection between the destructive potential of the atomic bomb and the moral and philosophical dilemmas expressed in the Bhagavad Gita. He, along with many of his contemporaries, wrestled with the implications of creating a weapon capable of such widespread devastation. In a broader historical context, these parallels raise profound questions about the intersection of ancient mythology, human progress, and the ethical implications of scientific advancements. Could ancient cultures have developed weapons of mass destruction similar to modern nuclear bombs, or is this merely a coincidence of storytelling? The Mahabharata, written thousands of years ago, might hold clues to how early civilizations understood the destructive potential of their technology. Whether the Brahastra was a symbolic representation of a force that could destroy civilizations or an ancient metaphor for an advanced weapon system, its description in the Mahabharata seems eerily prescient in light of the nuclear age. The fascination with these comparisons highlights not only the mysteries surrounding ancient civilizations but also the ongoing debates over the morality of scientific progress. Oppenheimer's reflection on the consequences of nuclear weapons, informed by his study of Indian texts, serves as a reminder of the dual nature of technological advancement. Science and innovation, while capable of lifting humanity to new heights, can also bring immense destruction. This duality is exemplified in both the mythological descriptions of the Brahastra and the very real consequences of the nuclear bombs dropped on Japan. The legacy of these weapons, both ancient and modern, continues to shape our understanding of power, responsibility, and the ethical boundaries of scientific discovery. Moreover, the symbolism of the quote, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds," reveals the internal conflict that scientists, including Oppenheimer, felt after unleashing such catastrophic power. In his case, the creation of the atomic bomb brought with it an understanding of the irreversible consequences of their actions. This realization aligns with the moral lessons in the Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna speaks to Arjuna about the inevitability of destruction and the necessity of fulfilling one's duty, no matter how difficult or morally complex it may be. Similarly, Oppenheimer's involvement in the Manhattan Project and his later reflections on the bomb's use reflect a profound grappling with the implications of creating a weapon that could annihilate entire populations. In conclusion, the eerie parallels between the descriptions in the Mahabharata and modern nuclear warfare raise fundamental questions about the nature of destruction, the potential for advanced technology in ancient times, and the philosophical and ethical dimensions of scientific progress. Whether these ancient texts are merely symbolic or point to the possibility of real ancient technologies is still a subject of debate. However, the fascinating connection between the Mahabharata and nuclear weapons serves as a powerful reminder of the destructive potential inherent in the pursuit of power, knowledge, and scientific discovery. The land, barren for generations, the environmental aftermath, poisoned waters, withering plants, and a scar on the earth mirrors the effects of radioactive fallout. The vivid imagery in the epics could be interpreted as a historical representation of a nuclear detonation, complete with its catastrophic consequences. Critics argue that these descriptions are metaphorical rather than literal, intended to convey the moral and spiritual consequences of unchecked power. However, proponents of the ancient nuclear weapons theory point to the specificity of the details as evidence of advanced knowledge. The parallels between the epic descriptions and modern nuclear phenomena raise intriguing questions about the origins of such knowledge. If we entertain the possibility that ancient civilizations possessed advanced technologies, the implications are profound. How could such knowledge have been lost over time? One hypothesis is that ancient societies experienced a technological renaissance followed by a catastrophic event that led to the loss of scientific advancements. This idea finds support in the cyclical view of history prevalent in many ancient cultures, including Indian philosophy, which speaks of successive ages, or yugas, marked by progress and decline. In these cycles, each yuga represents a different stage of human development, from a golden age of enlightenment and prosperity to a dark age of ignorance and destruction. If this cyclical pattern held true, it suggests that humanity may have experienced a period of advanced technological prowess, only to have it destroyed by a catastrophic event, such as a war or natural disaster. The loss of this knowledge could have led to the societies of today being unaware of the achievements of their distant ancestors. The notion that advanced civilizations existed in ancient times only to be wiped out by disasters or warfare challenges the traditional view of human progress, which often assumes a linear trajectory of growth. Instead, it suggests that the rise and fall of civilizations could have been influenced by cycles of technological progress followed by devastating regressions. These cycles might have been lost to history, obscured by time and the fading of ancient records. The idea of technological renaissance followed by collapse also resonates with the theme of hubris found in many ancient texts, where the misuse of power ultimately leads to the downfall of the civilizations that wield it. In the Mahabharata, the destruction caused by the Brahastra serves as a metaphor for the devastating consequences of power gone unchecked, reflecting humanity's ongoing struggle with the ethical use of power. Whether or not ancient India truly witnessed nuclear warfare, the moral and ethical questions raised by the epics remain relevant. The Mahabharata is not merely a chronicle of war, it is a profound exploration of dharma, righteousness, karma, action and consequence, and the consequences of power. The catastrophic effects of the Brahastra serve as a cautionary tale, warning against the dangers of misuse of power and the irreversible consequences of violence. The philosophical lessons of the Mahabharata continue to resonate in today's world, where the balance of power and responsibility remains a central issue. The ideas presented in these ancient texts offer a timeless reflection on the importance of ethical leadership, wisdom in decision-making, and the need for humility when wielding power, whether it be political, technological, or military. In this sense, the Mahabharata is not just a historical or mythological account, it is a timeless guide for understanding the moral complexities of human existence and the weight of the choices we make. The idea that ancient civilizations may have possessed advanced technologies, including nuclear weapons, is both captivating and thought-provoking. This theory, although speculative, raises important questions about the nature of human history and technological progress. If such knowledge existed in ancient times, how did it get lost? What could have caused such a dramatic decline in scientific and technological advancements? Many proponents of this idea suggest that ancient civilizations may have experienced a technological renaissance, only to have their progress undone by a catastrophic event, perhaps a natural disaster, war, or even the collapse of societal structures. This theory is particularly compelling when we consider the cyclical view of history found in many ancient cultures, including Indian philosophy, which speaks of successive ages, or yugas, marked by cycles of creation, prosperity, decline, and destruction. The idea of a lost golden age, followed by a cataclysmic event that wipes out technological progress, resonates with the themes of destruction and renewal in many ancient texts, including the Mahabharata. This cycle of technological rise and fall also mirrors the ethical and moral dilemmas associated with powerful technologies. In the Mahabharata, the use of the Brahastra, a weapon capable of destroying entire civilizations, is not just a narrative of war, but also a meditation on the consequences of unchecked power. The destruction caused by the Brahastra in the epic is a stark warning about the dangers of overstepping moral boundaries in the pursuit of knowledge and power. Similarly, the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki during World War II, which Oppenheimer and his colleagues played a role in, serve as a real-world reminder of the catastrophic potential of nuclear weapons. These events, along with the philosophical musings that followed, echo the ancient lessons about restraint and responsibility when wielding destructive power. Moreover, the Mahabharata and other ancient texts contain profound reflections on human behavior, power, and the ethical use of knowledge. These texts explore complex concepts like dharma, righteousness, and karma, the consequences of one's actions, both of which are crucial in understanding the moral implications of modern scientific and technological advancements. The Mahabharata, in particular, encourages readers to think critically about the choices they make and to be mindful of the impact of those choices on others. In this sense, it is not just a historical or religious document but a moral guide that remains relevant even in the modern age, as we grapple with the ethical dilemmas brought on by the rapid advancement of technology. The fact that figures like J. Robert Oppenheimer were deeply influenced by Indian philosophy and the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita speaks to the timeless nature of these ancient texts. Oppenheimer, upon witnessing the first successful test of the atomic bomb, famously quoted the line from the Bhagavad Gita, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." This quote encapsulates the profound moral conflict Oppenheimer experienced as he realized the destructive potential of the weapon he had helped create. It also highlights the resonance between the dilemmas faced by ancient warriors, as depicted in the Mahabharata, and the moral struggles of modern scientists involved in the development of nuclear weapons. Although the theory of ancient nuclear warfare remains highly speculative, it has sparked a broader conversation about the relationship between myth and reality, history and science. By examining the connections between the descriptions of weapons in ancient texts and the realities of modern nuclear explosions, we are forced to question the boundaries between fiction and fact. Are these ancient stories simply allegorical tales meant to convey moral lessons, or do they contain hidden truths about the capabilities of ancient civilizations? The fact that such questions continue to intrigue scholars and the general public alike demonstrates the enduring relevance of these ancient narratives. The Mahabharata, along with other ancient texts, offers valuable insights into the human experience, particularly in terms of our relationship with power and knowledge. These texts, whether viewed as historical accounts or allegorical tales, serve as timeless reminders of the need for balance and ethical responsibility. As modern society continues to grapple with the consequences of its technological advancements, these ancient stories offer a framework for understanding the deeper moral implications of our actions. They remind us that with great power comes great responsibility, and that the ethical dilemmas faced by our ancestors are not so different from the ones we face today. In conclusion, while the theory of ancient nuclear warfare is not supported by definitive evidence, it remains an intriguing possibility that continues to inspire both academic research and popular imagination. By exploring the intersections between ancient history, myth, and modern science, we can gain a greater appreciation for the wisdom contained in ancient texts. These stories, which have been passed down through generations, continue to shape our understanding of human nature, the use of power, and the ethical dilemmas that arise from scientific progress. In many ways, the challenges we face today are not new, they are part of a timeless human story, one that has been written, in part, by the very forces we continue to study and master.